more on this because it was part of those that drafted the recovery policy. 2021 and 2025 economic recovery and growth plan. Part of the plan is to invest massively in solar energy production and energy efficiency, in addition to gas flaring reduction. It appears that the desperation, of course, because how many quarters we've gone on our GDP has gone negative for almost 2 consecutive quarters. So one can understand why the desperation is there to achieve rapid economic growth in keeping the country's roots on fossil fuels. I therefore urge the government to show more commitment to achieving economic growth alongside environmental sustainability. The growth has to be sustainable. The way out is to invest more in renewable energy solutions to run the economy. Nexgen Energy, as a private sector player, is already working towards that goal and is ready to complement national and global efforts towards clean and sustainable energy. This is why the Nexgen Energy Hub also has houses. Here is the training center to build capacity for the renewable energy industry and create jobs and efficiency in the system. I thank you for honoring this invitation and urge you to spread this message of hope in the Nigerian energy sector. Thank you all for listening. Thanks so very much.
All right, so just on the press at this point in time, I don't know if Madam have anything to add to what Engineer has said to us.
All right, thank you, gentlemen of the press. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dr. Shegun Adaju. I'm excited and proud to be here today, and we are very proud of Nexgen Energy, one of the very leading members of the Renewable Energy Association of Nigeria, which I'm the president. So let me just briefly add to what engineer has said. Let me give you a rough idea. So half of Nigeria is not connected to the grid, and the half that is connected don't have up to 4 hours of electricity average every day. By international standard, if you don't have 4 hours continuous power, you are considered to be off grid. So that means almost the whole of Nigeria is off grid. Recently, the Commissioner for Energy and Mineral Resources in Lagos says Lagos is an off grid state. They have accepted. Now, the energy that is generated using alternatives that are not too good is like 4 or 5 times of what the grid is supplying. So almost 20,000 megawatts is done with polluting generators and others. And of course, now running a generator is very expensive. If you have a diesel generator now, I don't envy you, because it's almost about 600 naira per liter, if I'm correct. And if they allow the price of petrol to also run, with market forces, it should be hitting like 300 now, 300 naira. Why? There are crises in Ukraine and Russia. It's creating crisis even locally. Also, so beyond the affordability that the engineer mentioned, and I'm sure he will talk more about it, you can power yourself with renewable energy, particularly solar. In the long run, it will be cheaper for you than running on generators. And now, solar is becoming what we call grid, is achieving grid parity, meaning very soon, the price of solar per kilowatt hour, there's the way it's measured, engineer can tell us more about that, it will be cheaper than what you are paying on the grid. So let me use an example. I live in Lagos, in Magodo. I think it's about 68 naira per kilowatt hour. I've been on solar for 9 years. Whether there's NEPA or not, it's not my business. I don't use a generator. So now my solar is cheaper per kilowatt hour than what Ikeja Disco is charging other residents in my state. Not to talk of generator. I mean, I stopped using diesel generator 8 years ago. All right? So it's a great thing to have Nexgen Energy, start this first energy hub in southwest of Nigeria. We are very proud. We are happy to have, the company as, a leading member of RIAN. RIAN consists of about 146 companies in Nigeria. And of course, if you are talking about one of the top 10, 15, 20s, whichever you want to use, I'm proud to say Nexgen Energy is one of them. Yeah. So, thank you everybody for coming. I think this is a start of a very great thing that is yet to come. I'm very sure all of us and many people around us, our neighbors, even Ibadan, the whole of Southwest, will begin to deploy solar power because of this energy hub that we are launching. I want to say congratulations to my very good friend Engineer Kaibe and all the team, and also to the whole Nexgen Energy for this call. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. So, before we go into the questions, I also like to introduce Dr. Godwin Asa. He works as a scientist in RITA, and he's also a customer of Nexgen. So I believe that the press will also want to get feedback from customers and how they feel about the products. Also, permit me to also introduce to you Engineer Olayiwola Oyelade. He is the chairman of the Nigerian Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers. Okay, so the floor is now open to members of the press to engage them here. So if you are ready to ask questions, you can just indicate. Okay.
My own question is about capacity development that you mentioned. Who is your target? I mean, who gets this training that you're offering and at what cost? Is it people who already have knowledge running solar power? And when you say this is affordable, how affordable is affordable? That's
Okay, thanks for that question. Well, for the training center, it's actually the plan is to have it as part of our corporate responsibility, social responsibility, where we will train those that don't know anything about it, and even those that already have knowledge, we can improve on their depth of knowledge. Like you go downstairs, you see there is a testing center, a service center, a testing center as well. So it's not going to be a theory all through. It's going to be an intensive training where even if you don't know anything about solar, you can come in here and you are living here well able to the skill set to run solar business and also provide after service support to solar business, to solar systems as well. So it's meant to be part of our corporate social responsibility to our community. We will train everybody. You know, the unemployment rate is pretty high, so we are looking at mopping as many youths as possible to get them trained on solar, how to install solar and how to do solar business as well. And besides that too, we we are looking at training our partners too. Our partners are channel partners to ensure they have the proper skill set to deploy the equipment correctly. I don't know whether I guess that answers it.
affordability.
Okay, for affordability, well, like I said, for the training program is actually our corporate social responsibility. So I don't see us trying to make it as a revenue center, but we see how we can get it up running. But it's not a revenue center for us. It's more of contributing to the society because we say the society has been very good to us. The state has been very good to us. It has given us conducive environment to strive. So the least we could do is to contribute to improving the employment ratio of the nation by having a capacity building center like we have.
So let me just add one word to the capacity building. I had the privilege of going to India, and I know my friend here, engineer, has gone to India several times. And I went to a place called Barefoot College. Barefoot College. They train women who never went to school, grandmothers, on how to assemble solar panels, solar cells. These are on letter. When you say on letter, they never went to school. So that means anybody can be trained in one aspect of solar or the other. For example, I know we're going to have an assembly line here. So it's just training you how to put cell in. And I mean, it was very exciting to me when I saw those women. But aged women doing solar assembly. in India. So it's anybody can be trained. There's what we call the value chain. You can be an installer. I know we've trained installers who maybe just secondary school or OND, and then they get trained on how to do installation of solar. So that is what is also going to happen, creating jobs and empowering a lot of youths and even women.
Okay.
I,
All right.
yes, on affordability. I I know a lot of people what when they hear solar, they feel it's big money because when you ask engineers, the roadside engineers about inverters and lights, they ask you what load do you want to put on it. You want to have your TV on it. You want to have your fridge, your AC, and the heavier the load, they say, the higher the cost. But in your speech, you hammer on affordability. How affordable is the affordable is it? Like, okay, I want to have it in my house. I want to have my TV on it, have my light bulbs, have my standing fan, just something that a family can use. How affordable is it for the regular Nigerian family, the regular Nigerian household?
Okay, thank you. It just earlier on when my president was talking, he mentioned something about achieving grid parity. So if you check carefully, most homes have generator. So if they can get generator, so we are looking at there are a lot of streams of interventions, even from federal government. We are, I guess we have, or rather, it's what we call a 5 million homes project that is ongoing, where the federal government is trying to deploy about 5 million homes solar systems. So when that happens, of course, the challenge really with solar is that initial cost. So there are different interventions from banks, from federal government, even from RIN too, that is trying to help us developers access funding where we can deploy and get these things affordable. So like you said, it's something, if you can afford generator, you can also afford solar, really. Yeah. So just use that metrics. As many people as can afford generator, they can also afford solar systems. Yeah.
Let me also add, a typical example. I have an office in Lagos, and we power a lot of small businesses, particularly barbers. I mean, I've done over 3,000 barbers. How did we get about it? I'm a former banker. When I was in banking, I saw banks were financing television, fridge, generator, and they allow you to pay over time. So we brought that same idea into solar. To say, okay, a barber, you are buying a generator for 32,000 naira, and you are buying fuel of between 500 naira and 1,000 naira every day. If I ask you to buy this system for 350,000 naira, it's a no-no for a barber, right? So what did we do? We said, okay, we develop a model. We deploy the solar for the barber shop, and then he's paying 5,000 naira every week, and he pays over 2 years, and he has fully paid for this technology. The 5,000 most times is cheaper than what he was using to buy fuel for the generator. So it becomes a business model. So we took that also from in the association, because I mean we have experts who are technologists, engineers like my guy here. They design the technology for us. We are salespeople, business, finance people. So we took that same idea into government with the economic sustainability plan, and government provided about $140 million to finance such initiative. If you go to RA today, RA is also supporting solar home systems, mini grid deployment. So in the long run, your solar will be cheaper than your other sources. But the challenge is the initial capital, like you mentioned. But there are banks who are already coming in. Many banks are coming in Nigeria now. Bank of Industry, the Royal Bank of Nigeria, and some other commercial banks, right? So it has become affordable. Even simple solar lantern. You can get a solar lantern where you are paying maybe 2,000 naira per month, and they give you a code, you put it on the lamp, and then it comes on. When your credit finish, the lamp will not work again. And then when you buy another one, you put it, it comes on. And then you can pay over time. So that's the affordability.
So does that model exist with Nexgen? Do people have that option?
For option of paying
Yes.
installment
Over time, yes.
limited though because of the forest fluctuations now. But then, like my president said, we are doing something on it. Yeah, we used to do it, deploy it, but because of the forest fluctuations now, so we are trying to look at the model again, how we can adjust prices and the rest of it.
And what we also do is that we have various. I call it. I mentioned value chain, right? There are some people who are manufacturing. There are some who are importing. There are some who are distributing. There are some who are selling. There are some who are providing the finance. Me, my major core competence is financing. So we get technology from Nexgen. I mean, they are, we call them, in oil and gas, there's upstream and downstream. They are like the upstream in solar. We buy products from them. I have some of my customers in the battery that we use the battery and the products. So we go look for money. We have partnership with banks, and because you cannot play across the whole value chain. You cannot manufacture products and also be the one that is financing it. I mean, you'll be so their core competence is technology. We know that, right? They give us the best batteries, and the best inverter system, panels, and the rest, and that gives me the comfort to go to the banks because with the certification and say, give me money. I have Baba's 2,000 in Ibadan that I want to power. I take over that responsibility. He stays in the hub, provide technology, do the training, provide the after sales service. So when my inverter has any problem, I'll quickly carry it. Okay, this inverter has a problem. He will do it at the service center, right? So it's the responsibility is spread. But banks now are taking over that responsibility from players like us, doing the financing, and we provide the technology. I mean, we'll be happy to connect anyone who is interested to this opportunity.
Yes. So yes, my question will go to Mr. Shehu. You were part of those that drafted ERGP, am I right? Were you part of those that drafted ERGP?
Yes, I made an input to the energy company.
Okay.
Then the medium-term national development plan of Nigeria was part of the full.
Okay.
Yes.
How can that plan, how can investment in energy, in renewable energy, we help us to achieve that, the ERGP? I want you to hammer on that.
Okay, so the economic sustainability plan, because the NES, Nigeria Economic Sustainability Plan, supersedes the ERGP, right? Great. So that plan, let me talk about the energy component because I made an input recommending that Nigeria government should set up some money and finance about 5 million Nigerians. So that 5 million will impact 25 million people, with the understanding that in a family you have 5 people, at least 5 people, right? Okay, so under that scheme, another financing program was brought by government. It's called Solar Power Nigeria, and it's to support local content. So companies like Nexgen, can access that fund. Is in Central Bank of Nigeria. Implemented by the Rural Electrification Agency of Nigeria also. So how can it, it's like seed funding, okay? Government is saying, I want to show a pilot, I want to show how this can work. So they have brought money to encourage the industry. Now, other investors are also coming to say, okay, if government can, it's like, they call it equity contribution. So you want to buy something, you say, what's your own contribution? So government has brought money, and now it's bringing a lot of investors in. I know many investors, some of them are members of RIAN, that have brought money, foreign and local, into the industry in Nigeria because of this plan that has been developed. Okay, so it's also expected to create a minimum of 250,000 jobs for Nigerians, training them on how to be either entrepreneurs or installers or engineers in this space, empowering rural women to enhance their businesses. So this is how it can help to increase the investment in the sector. And like I've said, we are seeing investment already. I mean, there's a $550 million, from the World Bank and Africa Development Bank into that space, and many other people are bringing money because of this initiative. So yes, we expect this to make a major change in the industry and ultimately to create energy access for Nigerians.
Well, thank you, sir. I think that about something.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. I think I am one of the users of solar energy. And, I I used to be one of those that was very skeptical about solar. Um, so I had a generator, diesel generator, Caterpillar, of about is this 16 kilowatts or 16 kilowatts? I think so. Yeah, 16 kVA. That's how they call it. Now, if I'm to power that generator, I spend maybe for 5 hours in the night. I have to buy diesel that is worth 10 liters because it's still a small one. Now, diesel today, as I am driving, is 750 naira per liter. So that means I have to buy 7,500 naira diesel to power that generator for 5, 6 hours a day. Now, if I am to do that in 8 days, that is about 7,500 naira times 80. That gives you the kind of resources that we are spending on energy. Now, if I collect my salary, and I was telling my driver that if I give you that generator, you cannot even use it because your salary cannot buy just diesel. Now, what I did was I had to approach Nexgen. And why I did that was because I knew the wife. And the wife can't deceive me. So I said, well, let me try it. So there was a solar solution that they did for me just to take the light in 4-bedroom apartment, to take the fans, to take the television. Now, this cost me around 440,000 as at that time. Now, in the last 5 years, I have been on it. To a point, I don't put the generator at all, except when it becomes necessary to power fridge. Then I have to put on the generator. Now, why am I saying this? That's the kind of savings that we can make as a result of investing our resources in solar options. It is not every time we need to pray for the balance, but I think that some of the options we do, like investing in diesel generator, to invest in fossil fuel, they are actually devourers. That's where your salaries and everything goes going. So this gives us an opportunity to see how Nigerians can have better life. I don't need to wake up at night and change the power source. Once I sleep, and if light goes, that's the PSCM power goes, it switches automatically to solar, and I'm on solar. I wake up in the morning, I have my light on, everything is on. So I think this is an opportunity for Oyo State, being the host of this event, for instance, hosting this infrastructure to tap into solar. We knew what happened recently with Oyo State government and PSC. We are not going to discuss that. But if the government can invest in solar solutions in communities, then it's a way of improving our economy, creating sustainable jobs, and improving the quality of life. Maybe I stop there.
Yes, still more questions. Just to let you know that once we have like 5 minutes before by 2 o'clock, we start the second part of the event. For you to go to the press, so I'm sure you like to see what facilities are going to play in this call. So I would like to round up in the next 5 minutes. So I will take more questions.
Yeah, thank you. My question is to that we talked about intervention, new intervention for households. How about the automobile? Is the Nigerian government or we are looking at ensuring we have a renewable automobile see the cost of petrol now, the cost of diesel. What is your organization doing about it, and what are the suggestions to the government?
Okay, thank you so much. Briefly, because of our time, there are initiatives already to bring in. I mean, there are already electric cars in Nigeria. I hope you have seen one. Right. Okay. Interesting also that there are Teslas in Nigeria. Okay, and these are vehicles driven by electric power. And I know several of us, I'm also one of them, we're already thinking of how will we start charge stations, because for electric vehicles to run very well, you need charge stations over the whole place. So I can just, take that market area, any one of you can do that. Set up a charge station, and then when electric vehicles are, charging and you're taking your money. So most of them are also powered by solar. I've seen several out of Nigeria. And also, so that's where the world is going to. We're seeing electric vehicles already coming, and charge stations. Entrepreneurs are already, thinking ahead to set up charge stations that will encourage electric vehicles.
One last question. Maintenance. We know that for those of us who have generators, we buy one or two things that gets bad. How is the maintenance like? Is it something that we also need to, once in a while, buy something to fix, or there is maybe a service for it? I don't know.
Okay, well,
After sales service.
well, that is the interesting thing about solar. You know, your generator, you have a lot of moving parts. And because you have a lot of moving parts, you expect to have issues every now and then. But in case of solar, you don't have any moving parts. They are basically electronics. So you hardly have issues of after-sales support. But besides that, that's the essence of the service center we have downstairs. Even when such occur, we'll take you around so that you just have a feel of what we have here. When we have such situations, we can easily intervene and solve the problem immediately. But then it's easier with solar than with generator, in terms of after-sales support.
I was going to ask, what about, you said you are in 25 states. People outside here who have your product and they have issues, do they have to move it here?
Not necessarily. We have partners, we have channel partners in all these 25 states. So you don't need to come here. That is the essence of the capacity building we're also doing. We can improve on their skill sets to ensure they manage the product as well. But even now, you don't need to come here because they are our channel partners. They are trained to intervene when there is any after-sales support issues.
I'm sorry that it's not so I didn't follow it, but I want to ask, this your equipment, do you have the ones that can power manufacturing company?
Yeah, solar is just like any form of energy source. It can power, is not limited by load. You can power anything you want to power with solar. It all just depends on, do we have the land space? Like we have solar farms. You may talk more about it. We have solar mini grid. Mini grid means you want to power entire community. There is a corporate solution. You want to power company. There is residential solution. There is even a national solution. So it all depends on the budget that is available, and of course the land space that is available to deploy. But you are not solar. We've gone past limitation of the load you want to power. It's more of, okay, is the budget there? Is the funding there to drive that that project? Yeah.
That means the company has the money now.
Sure. Yes. You could see. Yes. Let him say something.
Let me just give you 3 quick examples. There is Ashejire. I hope I'm correct. There's a Nigerian bottling company. Okay, they have installed, and they're about to commission a 650 kilowatt solution for a brewery. That's one. Bayer University Kano is powered by a combination of solar, battery backup, and the rest. Huge sum. Then there's one Tulip Concept, that is a cocoa manufacturing facility. I think it's in Ogun State or so. Tulip is 2 megawatts of solar and battery. Huge facility. So solar can power whatever you want if you have the finances.
Thank you very much. Please transfer that for them.